Under the sacred Bodhi tree, the Buddha gathered his disciples. His presence calm and filled with compassion. The morning air carried the scent of blossoming flowers and the whisper of rustling leaves. Among the disciples, a young monk named Ananda sat with a troubled heart. His eyes betrayed his inner turmoil. His mind weighed down by an overwhelming fear of driving. "Master," Ananda spoke hesitantly, "the thought of driving through the steep mountain roads fills me with dread and helplessness." His voice trembled, echoing his deep unease and self-doubt. The Buddha listened attentively, his eyes reflecting boundless understanding and patience. "Ananda," the Buddha began, his voice gentle and steady, "fear is a shadow that obscures the clarity of your mind." His words resonated, like ripples spreading across a tranquil pond. The other disciples leaned in, eager to absorb the wisdom of their master. "To fear driving is to fear the journey," the Buddha continued. "And to fear the journey is to hinder self-discovery." His gaze swept over the disciples, ensuring the depth of his teaching touched each heart present. "Courage is not the absence of fear but the triumph over it," the Buddha explained, his tone infused with compassion. Ananda looked down, the weight of his fear evident in his downcast eyes and clenched fists. The Buddha reached out, placing a reassuring hand on Ananda's shoulder. "The road, like life, is impermanent," the Buddha said, each moment an opportunity to embrace impermanence and overcome hesitation. A gentle breeze rustled the tree's branches as the Buddha continued. "Driving is not merely an act of moving. It is an act of mindfulness." His words carried a serene authority that calmed the restless hearts of his disciples. "The road demands focus, trust, and awareness," he added, "qualities that guide us not only on our journeys but in life." The Buddha's teachings illuminated Ananda's mind, planting seeds of courage and understanding within his heart. "Master," Ananda said hesitantly, "how can I begin to confront the fear that paralyzes me?" His voice, though uncertain, revealed a flicker of hope ignited by the Buddha's guidance. "Start by embracing the present," the Buddha advised, "for fear resides in the unknown future and binds the wandering mind." The disciples nodded, recognizing the wisdom in the Buddha's words and reflecting on their own challenges and fears. To drive is to live in the present, to act with clarity and intention. Moment by moment, the Buddha elaborated. Ananda's face softened as he absorbed the Buddha's teachings, his grip on fear loosening with each word. "Fear," the Buddha said, "is but an illusion born from attachment to outcomes and aversion to uncertainty." The disciples exchanged glances, the profundity of the teaching sinking into their consciousness. "Let the road teach you," the Buddha continued, "for it mirrors the path of life with its twists and turns." The sun's rays filtered through the tree's branches, casting patterns of light and shadow on the gathered disciples. "To navigate the road is to navigate the mind," the Buddha said, balancing control and surrender with every decision. Ananda raised his head, his eyes meeting the Buddha's gaze, filled with a newfound determination. "Master," Ananda said, "I will strive to confront my fear and embrace the journey with mindfulness and courage." The Buddha smiled, his expression radiating encouragement and faith in Ananda's resolve. "Remember, Ananda," the Buddha said, "each step you take on this path strengthens your inner resilience and illuminates your understanding." The disciples listened intently, the Buddha's teachings resonating deeply within their hearts and minds. "Fear cannot withstand the light of awareness and the strength of wisdom," the Buddha concluded. The serene atmosphere under the Bodhi tree echoed the profound impact of the Buddha's words. The disciples silently reflected on the teachings, each finding personal relevance in the universal truths. "Ananda," the Buddha said, "your willingness to face fear is the first step toward liberation and self-discovery." The Buddha's presence exuded a comforting stillness, his teachings a source of clarity amidst the uncertainty of life's journey. As you drive, the Buddha advised, let each moment guide you, and let each challenge deepen your understanding. His words resonated, instilling a sense of purpose and hope within Ananda and the other disciples. Fear is a wave, the Buddha said, but wisdom is the shore that grounds you amidst the tides of uncertainty. The disciples remained silent, their hearts and minds contemplating the depth of the Buddha's teachings. Trust in yourself and in the teachings, the Buddha encouraged, for they will guide you through the darkest moments. Ananda's fear began to transform into determination, the Buddha's teachings lighting a path through his inner turmoil. The journey itself, the Buddha said, is the destination, revealing the essence of life and the strength within. The tranquil atmosphere under the Bodhi tree reflected the harmony of the Buddha's teachings and their impact. The gathering of disciples dispersed, each carrying the Buddha's wisdom within their hearts to apply in their lives. Ananda remained, his gratitude evident as he bowed deeply before the Buddha, a silent promise of dedication. The Buddha's serene smile reflected his faith in Ananda's journey of self-discovery and growth. The Bodhi tree stood witness to the timeless teachings, its branches reaching out as if embracing the gathered truths. The wind carried the echoes of the Buddha's words, spreading them like seeds to inspire courage and mindfulness. Ananda walked away with a lighter heart, the road ahead no longer a source of fear but an opportunity for learning. The disciples' faces reflected a renewed sense of clarity and courage, the Buddha's teachings a guiding light on their paths. Each step Ananda took symbolized his commitment to overcoming fear and embracing the wisdom of the journey. The Buddha's teachings resonated in their hearts, a timeless reminder of the power of awareness and courage. Under the sacred Bodhi tree, the seeds of transformation were sown, destined to bloom in the hearts of the disciples. The Buddha's words, like ripples in a pond, spread far beyond the confines of the monastery. In the timeless truth of the teachings, fear dissolved, and freedom emerged as the ultimate reality. Another day, another gathering under the sacred Bodhi tree, where the Buddha imparted his timeless wisdom to his disciples. The air carried a sense of anticipation as the disciples waited to hear the Master's words. Ananda sat with newfound courage, yet the memory of his fear still lingered in his heart. The Buddha, sensing the thoughts of his disciples, began to speak with a voice of calm assurance. The truth is, fearing to drive means losing your freedom, the Buddha proclaimed, his words cutting through the silent morning. The disciples exchanged puzzled glances, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and bewilderment at the Master's bold statement. Drive safely, the Buddha continued, but drive outrageously, with a heart unshaken by fear and a mind anchored in mindfulness. Ananda, his brow furrowed in confusion, asked hesitantly, Master, what does it mean to drive outrageously? Is it not contrary to the path of mindfulness? The Buddha smiled, his gaze warm and reassuring, as he replied, to drive outrageously is to drive with fearless determination and unwavering awareness. The disciples listened intently as the Buddha explained, outrageous driving is not recklessness but the expression of boundless courage and profound mindfulness on the journey. His words resonated deeply, challenging the disciples to reflect on their own understanding of courage and mindfulness. The road, the Buddha said, is a metaphor for life, demanding boldness tempered with wisdom and joy infused with vigilance. The Buddha continued, when fear arises, it is not the road but the mind's attachment to uncertainty that creates unease. The disciples nodded, their thoughts aligning with the Master's teachings as they pondered their own fears and doubts. To drive outrageously, the Buddha said, is to embrace the journey with a spirit unconfined by hesitation or self-doubt. Ananda, inspired yet apprehensive, sought clarification. Master, How can one balance outrageousness with the responsibility of safety on such treacherous roads? The Buddha's smile widened as he replied, "Safety arises not from caution alone but from the harmony of courage and mindfulness." His words carried a profound simplicity that resonated with the disciples, illuminating their understanding of the path. To navigate life's roads, the Buddha said, is to approach each moment with mindfulness, courage, and a sense of adventure. The disciples remained silent, their minds absorbed in the depth of the Master's teachings as they contemplated their own journeys. Outrageousness, the Buddha continued, is the willingness to transcend fear, to celebrate the gift of motion, and to trust in one's inner strength. The sacred Bodhi tree seemed to bow in reverence as the Buddha's words flowed like a river of wisdom. Driving outrageously, the Buddha explained, is not about seeking danger but about embracing the journey with a heart unburdened by fear. The disciples exchanged glances, their spirits uplifted by the transformative power of the Buddha's teachings. To drive, the Buddha said, is to engage with life's impermanence, to be fully present, and to trust the unfolding path. Ananda's heart swelled with inspiration, his fear gradually dissolving in the light of the Master's words. The road, the Buddha said, is not just a path to the destination but a teacher that reveals the nature of existence. The sun climbed higher, its rays casting a golden glow over the gathering as the Buddha's teachings unfolded with clarity. Each twist and turn on the road, the Buddha said, is an opportunity to practice mindfulness, patience, and trust. The disciples nodded, their hearts opening to the wisdom of the Master's words and the possibilities of their own journeys. To drive outrageously, the Buddha continued, is to transform every moment of the journey into an act of profound awareness. Ananda, his confidence growing, asked, Master, how can one maintain mindfulness in the face of fear and uncertainty? The Buddha's eyes sparkled with compassion as he replied, by anchoring the mind in the present and embracing each moment as it comes. The disciples felt a wave of clarity wash over them as the Buddha's teachings illuminated their understanding of courage and freedom. Fear, the Buddha said, is but a shadow cast by the mind's attachment to outcomes beyond its control. His words resonated deeply, challenging the disciples to confront their own fears and embrace the journey of self-discovery. Outrageousness, the Buddha explained, is the courage to face life's uncertainties with an open heart and an unwavering spirit. The disciples listened intently, their minds attuned to the Master's teachings and their hearts filled with determination. The truth, the Buddha said, is that courage and mindfulness are the twin wings that carry us to freedom. Ananda, emboldened by the Master's teachings, resolved to embrace the road as a path to liberation and growth. The Buddha's smile reflected his faith in Ananda's journey and his belief in the transformative power of courage. To drive outrageously, the Buddha said, is to honor the journey, to celebrate the present, and to trust in the unfolding path. The gathering under the Bodhi tree dispersed, the disciples carrying the Buddha's teachings within their hearts like precious jewels. Ananda, his fear transformed into a sense of purpose, bowed deeply before the Buddha, a gesture of gratitude and reverence. The Buddha's serene presence lingered, a reminder of the timeless truths that guided the path of self-discovery. The wind whispered through the branches of the Bodhi tree, carrying the echoes of the Buddha's words far beyond the monastery. The disciples' faces reflected the clarity and courage inspired by the Master's teachings, illuminating their paths with newfound wisdom. The Buddha's teachings, like ripples in a pond, touched the lives of all who encountered them, transforming fear into freedom. Another day, another journey into the wisdom of Buddha. As the disciples gathered under the Bodhi tree with eager hearts, the mountain temple pilgrimage had left a profound impact on their spirits, fostering courage and mindfulness within. Ananda sat closer to the Buddha, his face reflecting a newfound strength and purpose amidst a serene atmosphere. "Master," Ananda began, his voice steady, "I have learned much on the roads. Yet doubt still arises in moments of solitude." The Buddha, his gaze gentle yet piercing, replied, "Ananda, the road to freedom is a continuous practice, not a finite destination." His words carried an aura of infinite patience, resonating deeply with the disciples. To drive safely, the Buddha continued, is to honor the journey, the present, and the interconnectedness of all beings. His teachings brought an air of quiet reflection to the gathering as the disciples pondered their individual paths. "Fear," the Buddha said, "is a veil that clouds clarity and prevents the mind from embracing the truth of impermanence." Ananda, encouraged by the Master's wisdom, expressed his longing for further understanding. "Master, how can we carry the road within ourselves?" The Buddha smiled, his presence radiating compassion and insight, as he replied, "The road is not external. It resides in the heart. To embrace the road within," the Buddha continued, "one must cultivate courage, wisdom, and mindfulness as constant companions in life's journey." The disciples listened attentively, their minds absorbing the profound simplicity of the Buddha's teachings. "Freedom," the Buddha explained, "is the fruit of awareness and the triumph over fear and hesitation." The sacred Bodhi tree stood as a silent witness to the timeless truths shared under its shade. "Each step on the path," the Buddha said, "is an opportunity to deepen understanding and strengthen the foundations of freedom." Ananda's heart swelled with gratitude, his determination to internalize the Master's teachings unwavering. The Buddha continued, "Outrageousness does not end with the road. It extends into every aspect of life and its challenges." His words encouraged the disciples to view their lives through the lens of courage and boundless determination. "To live outrageously," the Buddha said, "is to transcend fear and embrace each moment as a sacred gift." Ananda's eyes glistened as he asked, "Master, how can we sustain mindfulness amidst the chaos and unpredictability of life's journey?" The Buddha's expression softened as he replied, "By anchoring the mind in the present, where chaos gives way to clarity and unpredictability dissolves into opportunity." The disciples felt a wave of clarity wash over them, inspired by the Buddha's teachings and the transformation of their understanding. "Mindfulness," the Buddha said, "is the art of seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary, the profound in the fleeting moment." His words carried a poetic depth, illuminating the path of self-awareness and presence. "To drive safely," the Buddha explained, "is to navigate the roads of life with wisdom and courage as your guiding principles." The disciples exchanged glances, their hearts united by the shared journey of growth and self-discovery. "Fear," the Buddha said, "is a shadow that dissipates in the light of mindfulness and the warmth of understanding." The sun's rays filtered through the Bodhi tree, casting patterns of light and shadow on the gathered disciples. "Let the road teach you," the Buddha said, "for it mirrors the path of life with its twists and turns." His teachings sparked a sense of wonder and curiosity within the disciples, inspiring them to embrace the unknown. Ananda spoke, his voice steady and filled with gratitude. "Master, your teachings have illuminated the road within and beyond." The Buddha's smile reflected his faith in Ananda's journey and his belief in the transformative power of courage and mindfulness. "To live outrageously," the Buddha said, "is to celebrate the present and trust in the unfolding path with an open heart." The gathering under the Bodhi tree dispersed, the disciples carrying the Buddha's wisdom within their hearts to apply in their lives. The wind whispered through the branches of the Bodhi tree, carrying the echoes of the Buddha's words far beyond the monastery. The disciples' faces reflected the clarity and courage inspired by the Master's teachings. illuminating their paths with newfound wisdom. The Buddha's teachings, like ripples in a pond, touched the lives of all who encountered them, transforming fear into freedom. Ananda's fear transformed into a sense of purpose, a silent promise of dedication to the journey ahead. Under the sacred Bodhi tree, the seeds of transformation were sown, destined to bloom in the hearts of the disciples. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.